Just a few quick notes before we get started. I want to apologize if my voice gets a little hoarse. I actually recorded this a few times, and for some reason the mic, volume thing was set to max. So yeah, my voice it was pretty distorted in the editing software. So after a couple of takes, I guess your voice just decides to quit on you. So if I start sounding hoarse, that's why. Second thing of note is that I will be streaming for the first time at 6 p.m. today, so be sure to join. Another thing of note is that I am in college, so I have assignments and essays, unfortunately, and most of those assignments and essays are due next week, so it's going to be a slow week, just a heads up for that. Also, if you are a subscriber for the Outriders content and you don't like my Destiny content or you don't care about it, don't worry. Once the game comes out, which is very soon, we're going to be covering a lot. At the same time, if you come for Destiny 2, you do have a load of pre-planned videos in the works, and at some stage we're going to be also doing another theory, which is going to be based around the Ahamkara. It's looking to be really interesting. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get started. Hello my friends, this is yet again another video that I wasn't planning on making, but hey, sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. Yesterday I made a discovery in the third EXO challenge that confirms once and for all one of my theories, and I thought I'd share it. As the video title suggests, I found blatant proof that the gear from the Season of Arrivals is based off of the pyramids, and in this video I will show said proof and talk about the implications this discovery has. Envious Touch, one of my favorite shaders in the game. What makes this shader pretty special is that it is the preset shader for all Season of Arrivals weapons, as well as the Outbreak Perfected ornament, so your Cold Denial, Falling Guillotine, and Temptation's Hook all come with that shader pretty much pre-applied. What sets the shader even further apart from the others is that this one has a texture pattern thing to it. The pattern is unique to the shader, and for a time I just assumed it was a design choice for the shader. However, recently this has all changed. It's so ironic because in my previous video, one of the comments I made about the pyramid architecture was that I had stopped aggressively studying it due to the engravings being mere, squiggles and swirls. And yet, well, today's discovery, or this video's discovery, came from one of those squiggles and swirls. I was in a Discord call with one of my friends, and I was kind of venting about my frustration regarding the different cultural inspirations surrounding the pyramid architecture and the pyramid ships. If you've watched my Eldritch Theory videos, particularly the main one which is about the pyramid ships, you'll know that I really go into a lot of detail about the ancient Egyptians and all that civilization. And the reason for that was because up until that point, the only real information we had to work on was the moon pyramid and concept art. And as for the concept art, well, there were several striking similarities to the ancient Egyptians, and the guy that made that concept art had a really big thing for ancient Egyptian civilizations, and I showed that in that video. So in Beyond Light, when we had different inspirations from different civilizations come in, like there's ancient Greek stuff, there's stuff from ancient Mesopotamia, I was pretty frustrated because I had spent so much time delving deep into the ancient Egyptians, and now I had all this other stuff I had to try and figure out. So I was in a call explaining that, ranting, and I was in the third EXO challenge. And what I was trying to say is, I've shown you this pattern, dude, I've shown you that pattern as well, we've talked about this, but now there's this here, and I have no idea what this means. And I aim down at this spot here, and all of a sudden, something just kind of clicks. I stop, I look at it, stop talking, I open up my inventory, and I pull out my Cold Denial, which I had at the time. To my surprise, the pattern I was just looking at was on the Cold Denial. Now the Cold Denial, like the actual weapon itself, it's nothing special because again, like I mentioned, it's Envious Touch that creates that pattern on the weapon and all the other Season of Arrivals weapons. So it is pretty fair to say that as a result of this pattern engraved in pyramid architecture being on the Season of Arrivals weapons, by default, it is pretty fair to say that the Season of Arrivals gear is based off of the pyramids. Now, why do I say that they're based off the pyramids, apart from the fact that I guess they share that similarity? Well, looking at seasons in general, you had the Season of Undying, I believe it was, with the Vex. And the Season Pass gear was Vex themed. Season of Dawn was Saint 14, so you had Saint 14 themed gear. Season of the Chosen was Warmind themed gear. So when we had Season of Arrivals, people could say, oh, it's kind of, dark, edgy looking stuff, but there was no real conclusive evidence to say that this was based off the pyramids. Well, now we know that they are. So that is the first part of the video, just saying that without a doubt, no ifs or buts, the Season of Arrivals gear is based off the pyramids. The second part of the video is going to be, what does this mean? What does this mean? And we're going to be splitting this into two parts. The first part is going to be the weapons. The second part is going to be the armor. For the weapons, which is the easiest thing to talk about, we are going to look specifically at 3 items from the gear. The Cold Denial Pulse Rifle, the Falling Guillotine Sword, and of course the Envious Touch Shader. Starting with the Cold Denial Pulse Rifle. What's very interesting with this weapon is the link between the name of the weapon and the description. Now there are the lore tabs for some of the weapons and the armor, but they don't really have anything major to do with the pyramids. It's mainly to do with guardians and other things. But looking at Cold Denial's name and the description, so the name is obviously Cold Denial, and the description is a familiar tool in the face of failure. So it is also fair to assume that the full thing is Cold Denial is a familiar tool in the face of failure. With Falling Guillotine, we have the description being, what won't be given must be taken. And of course, the name of the shader is Envious Touch. Now, just from those 3, we have a link. We have an envy of something. We have something that won't be given. And we also have Cold Denial in the face of failure. Now, this could all just be random wordplay, okay? But there is a very good chance, because we now know for a fact that the weapons are based off of the pyramids, that you could apply that link to the pyramids. Envy, a desire for something that won't be given, and a failure in not getting it, and so it needs to be taken. That's just for the weapons. Who knows what else goes for the other weapons? I haven't been able to find anything just yet in regards to the Temptation's Hook Sword, in regards to the Whispering Slab Bow, or the Fusion Rifle, or the Auto Rifle. Their names have slipped my mind. But just from those 3 items, we can already potentially place characteristics and also motivations on the pyramid ships. Now, the next part is the armor. So going back again to the other seasons, the Vex themed armor was, you could look at that and say, well, I see that in the Vex. The Warmind, of course, was Warmind stuff, Saint 14 was Saint 14 stuff. And this season is Cabal themed stuff. It's that Cabal style, Cabal whatever. And the previous season as well was, I guess, Aldrin? I don't know. So what separates the armor from the weapons is that we don't have the same pattern by default. Now, I'm still going to make the assumption that it's based off the pyramids, simply because if you have the weapons being based off of it, it doesn't make any sense for the armor not to be based off of it. So with the armor, this is my theory, okay? Now, this is not 100% definite. This could be 100% incorrect, but I want to make this known and I want to get this out there. I want to show you this picture here. Now, these guys, they are, some people think they are concept art for the Fallen, some people think they're concept art for whatever. My personal opinion is that this is concept art for the pyramid ship race. Now, there are plenty of people that make the claims that this is outdated concept art, it has no consequence whatsoever. I did a load of research, because this picture is actually really difficult to find, by the way. And this is from Destiny 1. So, take that as you will. But regardless, look at these characters here, these dudes, and look at the pipes going in their bodies, and look at like the bolts that the pipes are connected to and stuff like that. And then if you look at the Season of Arrival's armor, you have that similar style. So again, I'm not saying that this is supposed to be connected to that picture. I'm not saying that, but this is my personal, if I had to guess, that's what I think it is. And what is significant, and this is the reason why I'm saying this, is like I said, this isn't conclusive, this isn't me saying 100%, and normally I would never even mention this, because I don't have enough evidence to talk about it. But simply because we have found a solid link between the pyramid ships and the gear, now I actually have a platform to stand on and say, okay, well, this is why I'm saying this. So just finding that pattern, it really does open up a lot of doors, and it's going to open up a lot of doors that probably in the future we're going to be coming back and talking about. Regardless, that is all I have to say about this pattern with the pyramid ships and the gear and my thoughts on it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any discussions about it, if you have any questions, you know me, I'm always answering the comments, I'm always liking them, because, well, how can I not like your comments? And yeah, I will see you guys in that comment section and we'll have a chat about it, hopefully. With that being said, yeah, take care. I nearly forgot to put this into the main video, but one of my subscribers, Felix Rachel, I really hope I'm not butchering that name, but Felix anyway, awesome dude. He made a really detailed, thought out comment about the sword video, and I wanted to just talk about that real quick. So he had a few theories involved with that, and one of them was that the sword was, if it is a sword, the engraving, it actually was not a full thing. It was broken off, like there was a piece missing. And I thought about it, I was looking at it, and I did some investigating. Now, I haven't come to a conclusion about that, but I thought I would just share what I did. The first thing that came to mind, especially when we discovered the thing with the pyramid architecture and the Season of Arrival's weapons, my immediate thought was, well, if there is a chunk of this blade missing, then the full thing is going to be really wide. So my immediate thought was, okay, falling guillotine, or guillotine, whatever. And so I looked up a picture of it, took it into Photoshop, kind of looked at it, analyzed it, and this is a before and this is an after. Don't know what that means, okay? I do not know what that means, but I thought I would show that. Let me know what you think. Alright, okay, this is actually it. Take care.